When it comes to what your family eats and drinks, you know your choices matter. You're the expert because you know what fits your life. And getting it right starts with good information. That's why America's beverage companies are sharing more information about our ingredients at goodtoknowfacts.org. No spin, no judgments, just the facts straight from the experts for more than 140 beverage ingredients. Visit goodtoknowfacts.org.
If your roof starts to leak or your floor's really squeak, you live in a money pit. Money pit.
If your basement needs a pump or your place looks like a dump, you live in a money pit. Money pit. Pick up the telephone.
Fix up your home sweet home by calling 888-MONEY-PIT.
The Money Pit is presented by Dyche Coatings. Now here's Leslie Segretti.
Coast to coast and floorboards to shingles, this is the Money Pit. I'm Leslie Segretti, and with me is Jim Kenzie. Happy after Halloween weekend, Jimmy.
Yeah, I didn't kind of look at it that way, Leslie.
I mean, there's a lot to do this big, busy weekend, no?
Oh, yeah. I got to go to the Tunnel of Trees, Leslie, and it was amazing.
How was it? Was it so beautiful?
It's gorgeous. Oh, it's gorgeous. You got to go. I'll send you some pictures.
I would love to see them. And you know what? This is kind of a big weekend. It's like Halloween's over. I know it was just the other day, but it's time to kind of turn things over, make everything autumny and homey.
Autumny?
Yeah, it's time now to put the spooky scaries away and make just things like homey and cozy, because you got to get ready. There's going to be many guests showing up. And of course, we've got to set those clocks back. So there's a lot to do. I mean, we've got a great hour of the show for you guys coming up. And I think this is like a big thing to keep in mind. Is your kitchen ready? I mean, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. It is the real holiday hustle. So we're going to share some easy ways to prep your space for all that extra cooking and baking and entertaining that is headed your way, from deep cleaning tips to a few clever organizing moves that will make your kitchen feel kind of ready for anything, whether you're hosting or maybe you're just feeding the crew. This is kind of the weekend to get that stuff done and get organized there. And your dining room. I mean, this is kind of a space like, you know, I use my dining room to do puzzles and to do homework with the kids because I don't have another space to hang out. So our dining room kind of has become this sort of forgotten catch-all space rather than like a festive gathering spot.
It's kind of like the garage of the inside.
Correct. It's my workroom, if you will.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's a space that kind of takes center stage this time of year. So we're going to share some quick and affordable ways that you can refresh your dining room before the holidays. You know, cozy lighting upgrades, simple centerpieces. We're going to help you get dinner party ready. No renovation required. And, I mean, people are going to be ringing your doorbell soon. Hopefully they're people you know and that you want to come over and not just randos being like, hey, I smell a turkey. But what are you going to do? You know, no guest room? Well, guess what? No problem. We're going to show you how you can create a warm, welcoming overnight space for your holiday visitors, even if the only spot you have is like the corner of the living room. We've got cozy bed ideas, smart storage, everything to get you guest ready that will have everybody sleeping tight this holiday season. So there's a lot to cover to get your home ready for the busiest time of year, which is also the busiest time for you guys. I'm so sorry, because somebody's got to get this stuff done, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't come over and do everybody's errands as much as it feels like y'all want me to.
Oh, come on, Leslie.
And you know what? I probably would really like it. But
Come on, you do one per station.
Maybe we should have a contest.
Do one house per station. I like that idea. Leslie will come to your home and watch you do the work while she sips mojitos. Yeah.
No. But maybe that's something we should explore. Why don't you guys write in? Let us know. You want like a contest of some sort where I'll come to your house and we'll renovate some stuff? Who knows? Could be super fun.
Heck yeah.
All right, but let's put that to 2026. All right, everybody? But for now, give us a call at 888-MONEY-PIT. Let us know what you are working on and not just your entry submission to this fictitious contest Jim and I just invented. But give us a call so we can lend you a hand. Jim, who's up first?
Down in Little Rock, Arkansas, we've got Mike, and you've got the Money Pit. Mike, what can we do for you, bud?
Well, I've been doing some remodeling on my house, and I'm kind of doing it piecemeal as I can afford things. And we're getting ready to list it probably later this springtime. And I want to know if I can list it as newly remodeled or freshly remodeled. What would be the best way to list it? Because it has taken me 3-4 years to do it.
I mean, listen, you spent 3 years fixing up this house, so I think it's fair to say that I don't think you're misrepresenting anything. And then you could fill in the blanks and let folks know what you did. In fact, that would give you a kind of a leg up on the competition, too. We always say it's a good idea to have an inventory that lists your improvements when you put the house on the market, you know, especially if you have anything that's energy saving, because all of those are really attractive to people as they're looking. So you could say updated windows to energy efficient models in 2025, changed out the flush and the flapper valve in summer of 2024. Everything, silly things, big things. It just kind of shows that you care about the house, you're maintaining it, you're taking care of it. It's all of those details. And I think that's very appealing to a buyer. So I would kind of create this list and list all those benefits and improvements.
Great. I appreciate that. That's what I'll do.
All right. Good luck with your project. And we hope that you sell it quickly and, for a lot of money. Hey, it's Leslie. I'm so excited to welcome Jones Road Beauty as a new sponsor to our podcast. They make high-grade skin products that work on every skin type and tone. I have super sensitive skin and I have rosacea, so I have to be really careful about what I put on my face. And I love Jones Road Beauty Miracle Balm, especially in the happy hour. I feel like it gives me such a nice, soft glow that works all year round. Now, Miracle Balm is a light-reflecting balm that gives your skin a fresh, healthy glow. It's a highlighter, it's a blush, it's a bronzer, and it's so much more. You can tap it on your cheeks, your lips, or as an all-over tint for an effortlessly natural look. You can layer it over your foundation to just kind of warm things up, or wear it on its own for a no makeup glow. It just works on you and on everyone. It's made with skin-loving ingredients, and it melts right in to leave your skin feeling smooth, moisturized, and comfortable. Also, just enough is a lightweight tinted moisturizer that smooths and evens your skin tone with a soft touch of coverage. It hides the redness from my rosacea, it looks natural, and it feels like nothing on my face. It's packed with hydrating ingredients to keep your skin moisturized without clogging your pores. Now, you can choose from 16 flexible shades, perfect for your busy mornings, bare skin days, or any time you want to look fresh without the fuss. Check out all their great products and place an order today at jonesroadbeauty.com. Even better, Jones Road Beauty is offering Money Pit podcast listeners a super special offer. If you use code MONEYPIT at jonesroadbeauty.com, you're going to get a free Cool Gloss lip gloss with your first purchase. So head on over to jonesroadbeauty.com and use promo code MONEYPIT to get a free Cool Gloss with your first purchase. You're going to be so happy with everything you pick out today.
Oh, Cape May is beautiful, Leslie, and that's where Marty is hanging on the line with a question about a tankless water heater. Marty, what's up?
My question is, I have a tankless water heater, which is on the second floor of my home, and that's the reason, that was one of the major reasons we got a tankless one, so that if it didn't, so there was no leakage problem and destroyed the whole house. However, it takes almost 5 minutes for hot water to get from the time I turn it on in the sink in the kitchen, which is on the first floor, to have hot water. Is there anything I can do? Is there something wrong with the way it's hooked up or set up, or this particular hot water heater? Why is it that I do not get hot water faster than 5 minutes?
All right, Marty. Well, you are calling from pretty much Tom's most favorite place in the United States, Cape May. It really was such a wonderful spot that he and his family love to visit. So thank you so much for joining us. Well, this is a common misunderstanding. I mean, when it comes to the difference between a tanked water heater and a tankless water heater, so while a tankless water heater heats that water continuously, it doesn't necessarily speed up the time that it takes that hot water to come out of your faucet, because it's not a matter of the type of water heater in this case. It's the physical distance from the water heater, regardless if it's tanked or tankless, to that faucet itself. So I think sometimes folks think because they go tankless and it's instant hot water and all of that, that it's, instantly heating that water, it still has to run through all of those pipes to get to where you are calling for it from. Now, there are systems. Watts makes a system that's a recirculator, and that basically keeps that hot water running through the pipes all the time, so you don't have to wait for it so much. And it's on a timer, so it kind of runs when you need it. So first thing in the morning, after sports practice, before bed, that kind of stuff. Because it does cost a little more to operate using this sort of thing. But when you get a tankless water heater, you do get energy efficiency, and you can get an unlimited supply of hot water. But you still have to wait those first few minutes for that water to get from the heater itself to wherever that faucet you are at. And in your case, it sounds like the kitchen. So sadly, it's just a distance issue here, not a water heater issue. I hope that helps.
Hey, you're tired of living in a money pit? Well, we're here to help. And if you want us to help out, it would be awesome if you could leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Just go to moneypit.com/review. It's only going to take a minute, and it means the world to us.
Well, colder weather, it's most definitely headed your way, and so are your guests. So let's keep those outdoor surfaces looking their best. Now, small cracks in your driveway or your walkway, maybe they don't seem like that big of a deal, but once water kind of gets inside of those cracks and freezes, what happens there is that water expands as it freezes, and what's going to happen is it's going to cause a whole bunch more damage. So before that happens, you can grab a concrete crack filler or an
concrete crack filler. Oof.
Yeah, sometimes again, Leslieisms. Maybe that's not exactly what it's called. But if you went to the home center and said, I need a concrete crack filler, I bet you 5 people that work there would be like, oh, you mean this one by Quikrete?
I was amazed at your ability to not trip over yourself.
I think I finally mastered the ability to speak on very little sleep and long work days. It's only taken a decade.
You just jinxed yourself. You realize that for the rest of the show.
Flap-flu, flappity-doo.
Exactly.
Flap-flap-flap-flap. But what I was saying there is concrete crack filler or asphalt patching compound, and you can seal everything up, you guys. Quick fix, helps people avoid tripping, and it avoids those costly repairs come springtime. And a bonus tip here, after you seal these surfaces, you can sprinkle some sand while it's still wet, just to kind of give you a little bit of grip into those surfaces. So extra helpful as we get to these icy, snowy, rainy time of year, depending on where you live. It's definitely going to be some sort of precipitation. That's what happens in the winter. Well, lots to tackle, and it's perfect, all of those tips there to keep your guests from slipping and sliding on their way to the holiday cheer or perhaps after the holiday cheer.
Full of
holiday cheer, if you will. Hopefully they're not the driver. They are walking.
Amen. And be smart this holiday season, by the way. Use an Uber or something, will you?
Yeah, it's so easy peasies. We could get into Uber ratings forever and a day right here. Do you guys, let me ask you, do you guys check to see what your Uber rating is out of 5? Because you can look at that. So you can see I'm a 4.76, which I thought was pretty good, but I have people at my job that are like, I'm a 4.9. And I'm like, whoa, I guess, I know I didn't puke in the car that one time. I really, when I was younger, I made sure I did not.
Oh my.
But you got to pay attention to this, guys. If you're going to Uber, pay attention to your rating. Always tip, leave a good review, be kind, all the jazz.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
oh, yeah.
Back to the phones. TMI.
Heading out to Ohio, Leslie, we've got me. Well, not me, we've got Mark.
A neighbor of yours, potentially.
Yeah, potential neighbor out here in Ohio, absolutely. Mark, you're doing a kitchen remodel on a budget, right? What's going on there?
Got a kitchen. It is sadly in need of a renovation. But like to do it on a budget, like you said. We're looking at IKEA, but then I've seen a couple of things on there say IKEA doesn't last very long, and then there are other ready-to-assemble companies out there, or maybe some other ideas on where to go. I mean, I don't mind putting the work in. I just don't want a $30,000 budget.
Well, I'll tell you, our experience with IKEA in terms of quality has always been really good with their kitchen cabinets. I mean, we used kitchen cabinets for some projects we've done. I know Tom had used it in an apartment that he built for like a mother-daughter situation at their home. And they're really great. They're very well priced. They're super easy to install. I mean, unlike traditional cabinets with their wall cabinets, you kind of put a bar on the wall and then you attach the cabinets to that bar and they hang off of them rather than sort of lifting the cabinet, attaching it into the stud. This is sort of like one rail that everything hangs off of. Right. So you're not doing everything individually, and it does make that process a lot easier. And on the base cabinet, there's no kickboard built into it. They kind of have feet, they're like on little legs. So you put a ledger board on the wall, probably about 6 inches off the floor, and you rest the back edge of the cabinet on that ledger, and the feet go in the front of the cabinet, and you can adjust them to make sure you're getting everything level. Once those cabinets are adjusted to the right height, there's a kickboard that snaps over the whole thing. So the installation is super, super easy. And, IKEA's prices have come up a little bit, but I like their door styles. I like their finishes. They always have like a fun color in there. Their hardware options are fantastic. So I would definitely say take a look at an IKEA cabinet, because if you're trying to stay more budget conscious, if you go to a big box store and try to find something that's definitely an in-stock option, that's going to be your best bet. But you're going to have to assemble it from a big box store to help it be more cost effective. So I would say that if you're sort of assembling things on your own anyway, if you go to IKEA, they're finished, they're super cute, they can help you come up with a customized plan. I just always like checking them out first.
Right. I plan to doing all the work myself.
Yeah, I remember when Tom had a 2-family house, and I would say the kitchen was from like the 50s, and everything was like yellow and plaid and weird. I remember Tom taking out those cabinets and going with stock cabinets from IKEA. And I want to say everything was less than like $2,000. Now, that was a few years back, so prices have probably come up, but it's definitely budget friendly.
Okay. I like the idea. My son did IKEA, and he likes his really well. He said it went in really easy. But then I just started reading, other reviews. It was probably what it was. It was probably part of an ad for somebody else, and they got this guy to make it look like IKEA. So we're going to make an appointment with IKEA, and I think we'll do I got Home Depot nearby, so we'll look at them as well.
Yeah, so your son's onto something too. All right, check out all your options. Home Depot, IKEA, get a sense of what's going to be most cost effective for you, and good luck with that project, Mark.
Bye now.
I just learned a new East Coast word, Leslie. Kickboard.
Toe kick, kickboard.
Toe kick is what we call them on the Midwest. You guys call them kickboards.
Toe stopper. Yeah, I'm sure we'll come up with some new terms in our time together, Jim.
And I look forward to that, Leslie.
Yeah, right? Well, the holiday season is just around the corner, and if your kitchen is about to become command central for cooking and baking and entertaining, now is the time to give it a little prep so that it runs like a well-oiled machine. Now, whether you're hosting a big feast or you're just doing more everyday cooking, a kitchen that's clean and organized and fully stocked will save you major stress later. So let's start with the appliances. I mean, this is the time to give your oven a cleaning before you need it. You do not want to do this like the night before Thanksgiving. Never, ever do that self-clean right before the holiday. It's super intense on your oven, and if something's going to go wrong, like that's kind of the time that it will. So do it well in advance of the big feast so that you have time to make any repairs. And then once you kind of get to that, you can sort of handle whatever else. But if it's too close to the holiday and you're just realizing like, shoot, I have to clean the oven, just give it a nice wipe down with baking soda paste or a non-toxic cleaner, and that will do the trick to make all the surfaces sparkle. Now, with your fridge and freezer, you're going to want to make sure you have space for all those holiday groceries, for the meal prep, for the leftovers. You want to look at all the condiments, anything that's expired, toss, mystery containers of who knows what. I would say it's safe to get rid of them at this point. They've been in the back for a while and you don't know what it is, so don't eat it. Defrost your freezer if you need it, and reorganize the areas in the fridge and freezer with some clear bins or baskets so things are kind of easy to grab, easy to move around. Now, you also want to deep clean your kitchen zones, so wipe down cabinet fronts, disinfect the sink, clean out the pantry, check the spices and the baking ingredients. Are you low on cinnamon or baking powder? Those are two things you're gonna need quite a lot during the holiday season, especially if you're making pumpkin pies or any sort of pumpkin anything, because the cinnamon is a necessity. So restock now so you're not scrambling, and also reorganize for function. So kind of shift your most used tools like a sheet pan, a mixing bowl, or just that favorite casserole dish to the easier to reach spaces. You might even dedicate sort of a holiday zone, whether that's a cabinet or a cart or top of the fridge for all of the serving things like platters, gravy boats, cookie cutters, the stuff that you're just using now that maybe you store in the basement. Put them upstairs, find a good spot for them. And don't forget about your cleaning supplies. You're going to be doing a lot of wiping and washing, so restock dish soap, gloves, extra sponges, kitchen towels. This isn't like a total kitchen makeover, but it is a reset. Sort of think of it as setting up the stage for a month full of joyful chaos. Because when the guests show up and the oven is full, you're going to be so glad you did this step in advance. All right, guys? Well, it's the holiday season, and that means a lot of visitors. And you know what? Your front door is the first thing that people will see, and fall is the perfect time to spruce it up. You can do a quick cleaning with a mild soap and water, and that's going to remove the summer months of grime on there. If you've got scuffs or chips, you can touch up the paint or even apply a fresh coat in a bold seasonal color. It's an easy project, so I wouldn't mind spending a weekend fixing the color of the front door just to be festive. Also, tighten up any loose hardware, polish the handles, add a fall-themed wreath or a welcome mat. Instant curb appeal. I mean, I had, an October welcome mat and wreath and garland on the front door. That was spooky scary. The kids are always fascinated by this. After everybody goes to sleep on Halloween night, I take down all the Halloween decorations and put up the Thanksgiving decorations. So it's like kind of living in Disney World or Macy's, because when you wake up, it's a different season.
You're living in fantasy land, Leslie.
Yeah, I really, set the stage for disappointment in their adult lives. They're going to get married someday and be like, we used to wake up to a different holiday. And the girl's going to be like, yo, you could do it. Bye-bye. Anywho, I'm not saying you have to do it tonight, but this weekend's great. Okay, you guys? All right, Jim, let's see who has a question for us.
We've got Mike on the line, Leslie, in Florida, who's got an AC issue, which is probably one of the last places you'd want to have an AC issue. What's going on there, Mike?
Hey, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. We just moved down here. My wife and I moved to Florida 6 months ago, and we had an air conditioning folk come out and do an inspection, and they said because of the age of the system, they weren't able to use any kind of a brush or machine to get it cleaned out. Dust out of the AC vents, and he said it would just create so many holes in it that it would be impossible, plus the room to get up in there. And his suggestion, he cut open the plenum box, showed me some pictures of some look like mold issues, and his suggestion was to put in a UV light. Have you heard of much success with the UV lights?
Well, honestly, I tell you what it sounds like, Mike. It sounds like you've got an air conditioning guy that's trying to sell you some upgrades. Truly. I mean, first of all, I don't really believe in duct cleaning, especially with the flex ducts. It's really not necessary. And, I think any dust that's kind of floating around in the ductwork itself can be trapped with the right kind of filter. So if you have an efficient filter, you're going to trap all the dust in terms of that. A UV light, it's a great idea to have one as well in the filter. That definitely helps. I mean, the idea here is that the air blows across. It's lighted. That light kills any spores that are in there. But in my experience, those lights have to be pretty intense to do a job that a lot of folks think they're getting done. So there's a product called coil cleaner. So if you take that platinum part and you blast that coil with the coil cleaner, all of that stuff is going to loosen up and be sucked right off with a vacuum or even brushed away. So to me, it sounds a lot like he's trying to upsell you on some improvements to your system where I don't think you necessarily need it. You know what I'm saying?
All right, that makes sense. And yeah, he definitely is trying to do an upsell.
Yeah, and by the way, what does that have to do with your ducts being dusty or, one doesn't have anything to do with the other? These guys come out, you've got an old system, you can do one thing, you can do another thing. It's just like, because the system is old, it doesn't mean it's not working right. You just keep it clean, use a good filter, and enjoy your life and stay cool, all right?
We'll do that.
All right, Mike, good luck with your project, or good luck in general now that we've told you don't have a project.
Thank you very much.
Well, if your dining room has been hibernating all year, it's about to get its big moment. Now, whether you're hosting Thanksgiving dinner or you're just having friends over for a cozy fall meal, now's the perfect time to give that space a quick and affordable refresh before the guests arrive. So let's start with lighting, because nothing sets the mood like a warm glow. You don't need to hardwire a new fixture. You can do a pair of battery-powered puck lights tucked into a lantern, a few candlesticks, LED candlesticks look great too, or even a floor lamp with a dimmer. those can totally just transform the vibe of the room. And you can also pick up inexpensive plug-in dimmer switches that work with your existing lamps to give your space a little more ambiance without calling in an electrician. And I do love plug-in wall-mounted sconces. They're great. You can buy them on Amazon. You can pretty much buy them anywhere. You just hang them up on the wall. They usually have a beautiful back plate and a shade, and you just plug them in. Beautiful sconces instantly. No electrician required. Now let's talk about your table and chairs. If you've got a wobbly chair leg or a table that kind of squeaks every time somebody cuts into their turkey, now is the time to tackle those fast fixes. A screwdriver and some wood glue can go a long way. And if the table has scratches, a little bit of furniture polish or even a walnut, yes, really a walnut, can help them in a pinch. And you kind of use the walnut itself. There's something like very waxy about the nut that as you rub it into the scratch, it kind of just fills it and smooths it away. Try it. You'll be amazed. Now, your dining chairs, you don't love them? Well, try swapping out the cushions or adding a slipcover. You can find great options online, or even just drape a cozy throw over the back of each chair for a layered, collected look. You know, at IKEA, they have those small, like faux fur hide mats in the kids section. They're small, they're white and fluffy. It's supposed to be like, I'm a polar bear, but obviously it's not. And those look amazing draped over a dining chair with like a little bit of embellishment, especially during the Christmas holiday, because that feels more like Norse and wintry. But that makes a huge, huge change. And they do sell it in brown, which, too late for Halloween, makes an excellent Chewbacca costume. Just saying. Or Game of Thrones. But anywho.
Nice.
And then finally, once you're having everybody over, you can pull that whole space together with a seasonal centerpiece. And it doesn't have to be crazy. It could be a bowl of apples or pears, or a row of mini pumpkins, or a vase of clipped fall branches right from your yard. Mix in a few candles in different heights, and you're done. I mean, it's really all about bringing in those natural textures, the warm tones, and that will give your space a festive, inviting feel. And the best part, you guys, these updates, they're fast, they're budget friendly, and they make your dining room feel totally guest ready, even if you haven't used it since last Thanksgiving. Well, winter is just around the corner, but before those temps drop below freezing, now's the time to go outside and check all those outdoor spigots and the hose bibs. You want to remove the hoses, drain them, store them indoors. If your faucet has a shutoff valve inside, go ahead and close it, then drain that exterior line. If you want some extra protection, install a faucet cover. I mean, they're just a few bucks and they can prevent burst pipes that lead to water damage inside the walls, which you don't find out about until spring when everything thaws and then is a giant mess. So take a few minutes, tackle this project. You'll be glad you did. So you're hosting holiday guests, but you don't have a spare bedroom. Well, that's totally fine. With a few clever tricks, you can create a warm, welcoming place for friends or family to sleep without a dedicated guest room. So let's start by scoping out the best available space. Maybe it's the den, maybe a home office, or even just part of the living room. The goal here is to create a spot that feels like it has some boundaries, even if it's not a private room. You can use a folding screen, a curtain panel, or just a tall bookcase to kind of visually separate the area and give your guests a little privacy. Next up, the bed. If you have a sleeper sofa or a futon, great. If not, high-quality air mattresses have really come a long way. You want to look for one with a raised profile so it doesn't feel like camping. You can add a mattress pad if it isn't the best one, some nice sheets, a real comforter, a few extra pillows and blankets so your guests can layer if they need, and it suddenly feels like an actual real bed. Now, let's think about those bedside basics. You do want to give them a small side table, or it can even just be a sturdy stool. If you've got a lamp, fantastic, but you want a phone charger, a carafe of water, maybe a little welcome note, or like a small treat. It's really those tiny gestures that make people feel really cared for, and that's truly what the holidays are all about. Now, storage is going to be another key detail. Your guests will appreciate somewhere to stash their stuff, even if it's a few empty drawers, hangers on a wall hook, or a luggage rack makes a huge difference. And finally, don't forget the details that turn a space into a retreat. A cozy throw, a lavender sachet on the pillow, maybe even a white noise machine or a fan for sound control, because, they're not in their usual spot. Bonus points if you tuck a little holiday flair in there. Maybe it's a mini pumpkin or a sprig of greenery. The goal here, though, is not perfection. It's comfort. With a little prep, you can make your guests feel right at home, even if they're sleeping in your home office. Just make sure they take your messages for you and let people know you'll be calling them back after the holiday. I think it's only fair, right?
I think AI can cover it, Leslie.
No, all right, fine.
This is a real good story about Bronx and his dad, Ryan, real United Airlines customers.
We were returning home, and one of the flight attendants asked Bronx if he wanted to see the flight deck and meet Captain Andrew.
I got to sit in the driver's seat.
I grew up in an aviation family, and seeing Bronx kind of reminded me of myself when I was that age.
That's Andrew, a real United pilot.
These small interactions can shape a kid's future.
It felt like I was the captain.
Allowing my son to see the flight deck will stick with us forever.
That's how good leads the way.
All right, Jim, who's next?
Deborah in Tennessee, you've got the money pit. How can we help you today?
I'm calling about dry locking my basement. I have my concerns about, well, number one, the odor, because I have pets. And number two, where does that water go if you just trap it in the cinder block? So I'm in a debate with my other half about, yes, we should do it, no, we shouldn't. We had one, water incident in 15 years, and that's the only thing that's happened since, but I still would rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah, that's a great question, Deborah. So first of all, Dry Lock is a product that does have some odor. I mean, it's not a terrible odor. I remember Tom did a project in his basement, and I remember him talking about how he kind of had to use a fan and keep the windows open and kind of stuck it in one of the windows just to make sure it pulled up some air out of the basement and was okay. But I remember him saying it wasn't terrible. And I mean, I wouldn't have any concerns about your pets while you're using this product. Obviously, don't leave it right next to your pets or have your pets in the same room, but I wouldn't be concerned with having the pets in the house. Now, you asked the question, so what happens to the water? Am I keeping it out? So listen, this is kind of a point of misunderstanding. Dry Lock isn't keeping the waves of the ocean out of your basement. I mean, it's not that kind of thing. It's stopping some of the evaporation that will come from the block in the wall getting damp, but it doesn't stop a lot of water coming in. If it wants to get in, it's gonna get in. And the way that you stop that, though, especially since you mentioned that this has only happened once in 15 years, you've got a problem with drainage. And I can tell you right now that if you look at your gutters, they're either blocked or the downspouts are disconnected, or maybe they're not even extended away from the house, or the soil around the house is kind of sloping or sagging toward the walls. All of this thing sort of causes those floods. So you don't have to worry about sealing your house against the water. Your house is going to stay dry if you stop the water from getting there by working on your drainage. Head on over to moneypit.com, and on the homepage, you can read a post about wet basements and how to prevent a wet basement. There's a lot of step-by-step information that you need there in that post. So check it out, and I promise you those problems will probably magically disappear. If you guys are familiar with the Money Pit in any way, shape, or form, you know that this is Jim's absolute favorite part of the hour. He loves an email, loves to read them, doesn't love to answer them, but can't have everything. Am I right?
I'm sorry.
Hamina.
You say something.
All right, Jimmy, who do we have? I know you love this part.
I would apologize and say I'm sorry, Leslie, but I'm not. Okay, we have Larry from Connecticut. He wrote into the Money Pit, and he's asking, I need to replace a 214-year-old... What?
That's what I thought. It's two 14-year-old. I was like, I'm not going to say anything, and let's see how Jim reads this email. I was like, 214 years. That is an old water heater. Damn.
Yeah, no doubt. Just try to get parts for that. I need to replace two 14-year-old water heaters. It could be 21 4-year-old water heaters. Let's go with two 14-year-old water heaters in my attic. And I'd like to minimize wait time for hot water on the far side of the house. Should I use a recirculating pump or a tankless hot water heater?
Well, first of all, we're going to learn the space bar, Larry. And I'm pretty sure that was my typo as I put it into the logs for the hour.
Come on, you mean this whole show's just not off the top of our heads, Leslie?
No, I write the stuff, Jimmy. It takes a long time.
Yes, it does.
But Larry, we'll forgive you and myself for the typo. But I mean, 14 years old. I feel like you're on the cusp of some old-time water heaters. Mine was 20 years old. It lasted great. It was wonderful, but everything else broke in the house, functioning mechanics-wise. So I just preemptively got rid of that water heater and got a new one. So I think for you, now's the time to do it. You don't want anything to happen where you're going to end up with a ton of water or things breaking or no hot water or heat or whatever you need in a dire situation during the winter months. So there's really two solutions. First of all, there's a hot water recirculating system. I wouldn't go about adding that to such an old system only because you're sort of spending good money over bad. Eventually that water heater is going to need to be replaced. But if the issue is that you're just too far away from that faucet shower and it's just taking a long time for that water to get there, then that's where that recirculating pump sort of comes in handy. It helps circulate the hot water to that fixture over and over again without reheating it fully. It does save a ton of money. It saves a ton of energy, but I wouldn't put that in with an older water heater. Now, a tankless one, you can actually relocate that closer to the actual room where you're having the sort of demand issue. They're tiny, so, it can go in a closet, but it's basically, it's sort of on the smaller side. And you can get one that really will only just heat the water for that area. But if you need to heat the water for anything else, it's small, it's super efficient. It might not do the trick for everything. So there's a couple of questions for you to kind of think about when you're sort of heading to the home center. Like, is it the end of this water heater's life? You're getting close. Recirculating pump. Maybe if I keep things in the same spot. Tankless for an additional one. You got lots to think about, Larry, including a space bar. Well, that wraps up this hour of the Money Pit. We tackled some quick exterior fixes that'll help your home stay safe, efficient, and looking sharp this fall season, from sealing cracks in your driveway to shutting down those outdoor faucets before the freeze hits. And if your front door has seen better days, little soap, some paint, and polish goes a long way toward boosting curb appeal, plus all of the ways to get your interior ready for the cooking, the eating, the guests, and everything that the holidays will throw your way. Remember, it's the small projects that you tackle now that can save you big time money, stress, time, all the stuff. So don't wait. Pick one and get started this weekend. I'm Leslie Segretti. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Remember, you can do it yourself, but you don't have to do it alone. I'll see you next time.
On the Money Pit Radio Show. On the Money Pit Radio Show. Pick up the telephone. Fix up your home sweet home by calling 888 Money Pit.